Yeah, we got back from our road trip to Oral Roberts and Kansas City, and really over for the most part pretty happy with how the weekend went. The first 20 minutes at Oral Roberts, we just didn't look like ourselves, and that was kind of our big change in the locker room. As I said, hey, try to look a little bit more like what we've been doing, and they responded pretty well. Coming back from a 27-point deficit on the road at Oral Roberts, it's like you kind of lull them to sleep a little bit, make them feel pretty good, and then you start having fun and playing hard, and a lot of positive things happen. Both teams struggled to score. In the last few minutes of that game, I think we had opportunities to tie it. We had opportunities to go ahead, and it would have been nice to make those plays. But they're an awfully good team, and it was good to see us finish that game. And that's one of the things we talked about at halftime was getting our identity back, because we got another big game on Saturday with Kansas City that we wanted to really be ready for. And I felt like our guys kind of at least carried the compete over. From the second half, I thought we competed hard against Kansas City. It was an emotional game. I think our guys were really fighting through some fatigue, and I'm sure Kansas City guys were as well, because that's kind of what it felt like. A lot of foul trouble, a lot of free throws, and when Brady and BJ step up and make free throws the way they did, but I just think for the most part we just kind of continued to find a way to win that game. Different guys making different plays throughout. But the free throws down the stretch were huge. So, and then we've, back home, and a good opportunity this weekend against Western Illinois and St. Thomas, which both teams have, Western Illinois has really shown what kind of team they are, and they can beat anybody in this league, and they got a terrific player, but they've got really tough young guys that I think really fill their role well. So we're going to have our hands full Thursday, and then obviously Saturday St. Thomas is doing what St. Thomas does. They're really hard to guard. They don't turn it over. They defensively continue to find ways to get stops, and a really tough matchup, but good opportunity for both.
So last few weeks have been probably the most impressive of the season for you. What's been the reason for that?
Hard to always just put your finger on one or two things. I think the last 5 games we're scoring 79 points a game, giving up 70 a game, roughly 71 and 79 is pretty close to. So that's a +8, and the positive for us as far as scoring margin. There's no doubt we've I think shortened the bench, and I think guys have really established their roles more. And I think that helps. It's hard, but throughout the year we were playing 11 and 12 guys a lot, and we started doing that earlier. But I just think we've really got a little bit more of a rhythm with who we are as a team, and I think the guys are doing a lot better job fulfilling those roles. And a guy like Sather is, he had a pretty quiet 14 the other night against Kansas City, and he had some big buckets for us. And that wasn't usually, he's been doing that more and more often, where he'll have a sneaky game where he gets you 14, 16 points. And when he's doing that, we're pretty good. And so I just think he's really drawn more attention, his ability to stretch the floor, his ability to score inside. That's just opened it up for guys like Matt and Trey and Brady and even Jalen. It's made him a little more dangerous. He's making a few shots as well, but I just think it's made him a little more dangerous because we can space the floor even that much better. So, it's usually a combination of a lot of things, but they're playing well at the right time, and I think that at the end of the day, as a coach, I think that's what you feel good about is, hey, right now, we feel good stepping on the floor with anybody, but we can't for a second take that for granted or think we got stuff figured out. You got to continue to fight for it.
Brady's played a lot of basketball for this program.
Yeah.
How would you describe him as a player and then as a teammate?
Well, he's a great example of a guy that just goes out there and lays everything he has for his teammates, and he puts it all out there. Like every single night he steps on the floor, you're going to get a high level of compete. And I just think he's done it at a level this year on both ends of the floor higher than what he's been able to do in previous years on both sides of the floor. He's always been a guy, I think, that's just absolutely competed his heart out. But I think this year in offense, what he's doing as well, the shots he makes, the plays he makes, the rebounds he keeps alive offensively, the things he does for our team on both sides of the floor has been huge. But his example, just real tough. Not a lot of, not many excuses fly out of Brady Danielson, right? Not many. Like he's gonna show up and compete and fight and not worry necessarily about what it might look like. He's just gonna go out there and find a way to win.
You guys are leading the league in three-pointers attempted per game in conference play, 29 attempts a game. Did you anticipate that was going to be the way you guys were going to be, or is that just a result of good offense, or how would you characterize that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know if we sat out and wanted to necessarily make that a goal for us, but I think as this team evolved some, and just how we play, when your five comes out and shoots like T can, and then really with the exception of Jalen, the other guys are all getting a fair amount of threes up. It's a little bit of who we've kind of turned into, and the percentage is still well enough where you don't want to necessarily change that. It affects you getting the free throw line unless you're the other night against Kansas City where we got there a lot. But that's the one area that sometimes when you are shooting a lot of threes, you don't get those fouls. You don't. But we still want to be aggressively attacking the basket. But it seems like a lot of times we're finding ways to go inside out, and it's been good for us. So, I don't know if we came in thinking we're going to shoot 33s a game, but I do think for our team, I think it's been a good thing for us. It's been a little bit more of an identity offensively than what we thought it would be, but it's been working.